I'm Rick Marselis. I work for Society in the Netherlands and I'm a senior test consultant. On Tuesday I did a presentation here at the EuroSTAR conference and it's called Fear, Psychology in the Pursuit of Quality. And well, fear, it's an emotion of people. People can be afraid, and I don't mean people being afraid of something scary like a snow leopard, but afraid at work. And some people are afraid of doing things. And one of the examples I often give is testers who, for example, are afraid to use test tooling, whereas common knowledge is test tooling will help you improve your testing, be more efficient. But the first time you don't know the tool, and then testers become frightened to use the tool because they are afraid to be seen stupid, because they mess up with the tool they don't know. And the funny thing, and that's where this fear comes in, because fear also is an abbreviation for fantasy experienced as reality, which is a theory created by Thomas Crum. And Thomas Crum shows that people often have a wrong image of reality, which is their fantasy. And then, based on their fantasy, they are going to act. And the actions you do, especially when you're afraid, are often founded in your survival rules. And some of our survival rules date from the time that we were living in trees and in caves. So some of the survival rules are not very efficient in, well, the modern time. But the basic thing, so it is, you work out of a fantasy and not out of reality. So one of the first things you should do is check the reality. Laziness is also an example of an emotion I come across, and that's when testers are lazy and they don't want to do test design techniques. And of course, test design techniques can help you be very efficient in testing, but the lazy tester doesn't want to bother, and actually he doesn't want to learn the difficult techniques, because some techniques can be quite difficult. But the real lazy tester knows that if you apply your techniques very well, you are very efficient, so that leaves time to do other nice things. So the real lazy tester uses test design techniques. Another theory I introduced in my talk, and that's the 7 habits of highly effective people, which is a very well-known book of Stephen Covey. Actually, it's quite a boring book because it's like this thick, and I have put it on one slide, the whole book on one slide in my presentation. And I want to pick out one of the 7 habits, and one of the 7 habits is begin with the end in mind. And now I often come across test managers, test coordinators, test leaders, whatever they're called, and the first thing they always create is a test plan. And then I tell them, hey, begin with the end in mind. What does your stakeholder really want to have? And the only thing, sad to say for us testers, but the only thing that the stakeholder is really interested in is an end report which gives him information to decide whether to go live or not. Now, most stakeholders, although they get very nice test plans, they never read them. So if your test plan is not good, they don't notice. So the first thing you should do as a test manager is create a test report. And the thing I like about reporting especially is in the management summary I put down the smileys. Red smileys for bad and green smileys for good. And when you start making the report, of course the first report will be only red smileys, because all the risks are still there, you don't know anything about quality, so the customer will come to you, the stakeholder, and he says, hey, what's this report, all red smileys, what's happening? Like, well, we don't know anything, so you run all the risks. And then he says, yeah, but I don't see a smiley for, let's say, performance. And say, oops, I didn't know you want to know about performance, then I need to do some performance testing. I'll put it in my plan, because you as a test manager, you need your own plan. But the customer, be honest, is never going to read the plan. But you as a test manager need a plan for your team and for your project leader, whatever. And the stakeholder, based on the report, he gets the information he needs, and he grows with your projects, getting this report every time. Well, and that was one of my conclusions in the presentation. And then Of course, I give some tips what to bring home, what to do tomorrow, and one of the basic things to come across fear is to communicate, because in our book TPI Next there's the example that communication is a means of team building. So communication mainly between the developers and the testers, and together they can work on good quality, because testers only measure quality, developers in the opinion of the testers don't give good quality, so together we can get good quality. And well, that's the main thing, communication, to overcome this fear. And then fear can be translated to something else. And I've taken this from Ian Brown, who has a song all about fear, and he says fear means freeing excellence affects reality. TPI Next is a method for test process improvement. That's what TPI stands for. And the original TPI was introduced in 1998, and together with a team of 6 colleagues, we created this book based on the experiences of about 80 people, and we introduced the book 2 years ago in 2009. And you can buy the book in any bookstore or simply go to tpinext.com. And that's where you find information. You find downloads, because TPI Next uses an Excel tool to fill out the surveys. And well, these Excel tools are freely available on tpinext.com.